What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is my list of my top 10 Parliament songs. Just my personal favorite songs, not a list of their greatest. This isn't a greatest hits. This is what I think are my favorite. This literally what are my favorite. I don't think that. I know that because my heart and my ears tell me. As of July 2024, I would say that this list changes probably a lot. I would say 1 through 5 don't ever change. And have a recent addition as of 6 years ago. The bottom 5, I would say these are always favorite songs, but I have others that kind of creep up every once in a while that I'm like kind of fascinated with, and they kind of go out of favor, and you know how things work. We change as people. But yeah, so that's it. I'm going to talk about my 10 favorite Parliament songs. I'm going to put the list on the screen when I'm done. I'm going to encourage you to go listen to those songs, and I'm going to make a playlist, Spotify playlist. If you want to check it out on Spotify, you can just click on it and listen. And it'll be order from 1 to 10, because the one that's number 1 might be the greatest opening track of all time, and it's good for a playlist. But anyways, let's go. Number 10 is Let Me Be off Chocolate City. This is by far the least funky song on this list. Maybe the least funky song they do, but it's weird. Kind of reminds me of like when Frank Zappa did The Evil Prince on Stage 4, he took a song that was not an over-the-top theatrical Broadway production, and for the 84 band, he kind of layered it with all these keyboards and turned it into this over-the-top Broadway-esque twisted production. Let Me Be is Parliament meets Frank Zappa's Evil Prince circa 1984 tour, with some elements of cabaret in there, some art rock, some just weird synth piano keyboard energy all over the place. It's not funky in a traditionally funky way, but it's funky in a really strange, weird way. And I think Chocolate City is one of those albums that banger opening track. It's going to be on this list. And then this is the opening track of side B, and everything else in there is just kind of solid funk, but it stands out. And I think because it stands out so much on that album, I've sort of gravitated towards it towards the years. But Let Me Be, just a weird, fascinating listen. Number 9 is Glory Holla Stupid, in parentheses, Pin the Tail on the Funky. This is essentially the opening track on Glory Holla Stupid. There's like a prologue before that, prelude. Don't know which of those P words it is. And then right after that's done, the horns and the groove just drop. As soon as we're in Glory Holla Stupid, Pin the Tail on the Funky, we are already starting to pin the tail on the funky. It's just great energy, great groove. I think it's the highlight of what I think is a good, at times flirting with greatness, but kind of a, one of their, for me, bottom tier albums. But I think this track, if everything had this energy and this sort of like elements of high energy chaos that kind of creep in, it's not truly chaotic, but you feel like the energy's bursting to get loose, and it sets up the rest of the album well, but the rest of the album I don't think pays off. But the opening to this is absolutely fantastic. This, like Glory Holla Stupid, Pin the Tail on the Funky. The funky's been pinned. Unfortunately, apparently the game's over as far as the rest of the album goes. But fantastic song. Great kickoff to this album. I really like this song. And that's another one. It's like, I think I like this song so much because it kicks off that album well, so it gives me an excuse to like listen to that album. But yeah, Glory Holla Stupid, Pin the Tail on the Funky. And I like to say Glory Holla Stupid, apparently, because I've said it a lot now. That's number 9. Number 8 is All Your Goodies Are Gone on Up for the Downstroke. This is sort of a softer, almost R&B-ish type groove. Some great piano playing in it. Kind of a more of a mid-tempo, slightly slow thing. Slightly different vibe. It's still funky, but there's definitely a little more of a 70s R&B vibe kind of, sneaking in there. And I think listening to these albums, it's one of those songs that kind of just stands out because it's a little bit different, because it's not just laying down the deep, crazy funk. It's offering us a slightly little different flavor, but it still sounds like Parliament. It's like, hey, let's just do some R&B for a little while. Yeah. And then they drop this little song, and it's a nice little treat in the middle of Up for the Downstroke. All Your Goodies Are Gone would be number 8. Number 7 We have a disproportionate number of songs off Funkadelic versus the Placebo Syndrome on this list because that is a perfect album. Probably should have just put all 6 songs on there, but spoiler alert, I only put 3 of them. And for number 7, we have Sir Noise, Devoid of Funk. This is, I said this in the album video. If Parliament was a band, if the Star Wars Cantina, the place in which Han shot first, had like different nights, the night Han shot first or the afternoon, that scene in the movie, that was obviously jazz night. I think that was like a jazz band, a Star Wars jazz band playing on the stage at night. There's a funk night in this universe. This is the type of song they're playing at that funk night. Sir Knows Devoid of Funk. There's also sort of a Zappa horn arrangement 88 element to this as we get deeper into it, in which the horns are all of a sudden playing. Like we get some lyric recitation of, I think, it's not Row, Row, Row Your Boat, is it? Is it Row, Row, Row Your Boat? But like a nursery rhyme, and then the horns are starting to reference some things, and there's like a little bit of like Frank Zappa Monster Jam type energy going through this. But it's just like this epic, crazy funk jam that you would hear at like some other space universe. It's weird. It's kind of just off the grid. It's the sort of King Gizzard, Lizard Wizard, how they create a psych music that just seems to be its own musical vocabulary. That's what Parliament's doing here. Sir Knows Devoid of Funk. We're just in our own world. We've like defined funk in a way that only Parliament defines funk, and it would go really well in a weird place like the Star Wars Cantina, I would think. That's number 7. Number 6 is the last track off Motor Booty Affair, Deep. This is just a 9-minute epic. The horn arrangements are crazy. The bass parts are crazy. The vocals are like Parliament at its best. The groove is crazy. Starts off, I know people don't like me referencing Prince too much, but starts off almost like boop, boop. Early Prince with that, just those really nice beep, boop, high pitch chord, those like high chords, that little light funk. That's sort of where the jumping off point. But then after we jump off, and Prince obviously took inspiration from this. I know who inspired who. But then after that, the jam just goes on for like 8.5 more minutes, and it just gets funkier and weirder and crazier and better, and just it ends this album epically. Like it makes you want to go through the entire Motor Booty Affair just so you can get deep at the end and just like get all your funk urges out of your system. Fantastic way to end that album. That's number 6, Deep. These next 5 songs are pretty much been in my top 5 Parliament songs since I probably first heard them. Number 5 is Flashlight. Bernie's keyboards, his synths, whatever he's playing in this, like it's perfection. It's the P-Funk sound right there. Bernie is bringing it. Flashlight, everything about Flashlight is just a perfect funk jam. This is the band. This is another Funkadelic versus the Placebo Syndrome album. We're talking the GOAT is acting like the GOAT on this album. And this is one of those 6 songs that is pure GOAT. Parliament being the funk beast they are. Flashlight, that main riff, but Bernie, man. Bernie. It is just, yeah. Bernie and Bernie should run for president and vice president, and I would still vote for them both. Absolutely fantastic. The Bernie ticket. Number 5 is Flashlight. Number 4, the most recent thing on here. This is so recent, it would be in first grade if it was going to school. No Mo's. Here in the States, you go to first grade when you're 6. No Mo's, as in no Mo's, no mores. This is the Fugees meet Funkadelic as done by Parliament. This is a slow hip-hop groove, epic level. Like, I would expect, like, it almost like, I'm not a huge P. Diddy fan, and now that he's been canceled, I'm less of a P. Diddy fan, but P. Diddy could drop some grooves. He could drop some beats, right? This feels like just your epic, huge, just something that would be like a radio hit, Like the Fugees, had they had this groove, they would have knocked it out of the park and done something fantastic with it. That's what No Mo's feels like. And this is 2018 Parliament, and they are knocking it out of the park. It's a double album. I think it's like the first quarter of that I'm not all in on, but then you get like about 20, 25 minutes in that album, and it's banger after banger after banger. And then like on the middle of side 3, you get No Mo's, and we're Apex Mountain here. The part of it is like almost the best they've ever done here. This is such a great jam. And for it to come in 2018, man, I highly recommend you check out this song. It is a monster. Number 3, the opening track up, Funkenteleki. I don't know how to pronounce that. Bop Gun, Endangered Species, 8 minutes and 36 seconds of more goatness. This is pure goat funk. Yeah, it's really long. It's got the awesome groove. We're right in the middle of it, just over the middle, around the 5.5 minute mark. It like fades out, like, okay, we're gonna go into something different for a little while. Then, oh no, 20 seconds later, we're back into that groove. We're just hitting it a little bit harder, heading towards the finish line. We get a fake fade out at the end before the groove comes back in. Then we slide into the next song, Sir Nose Devoid of Funk. Yeah, just Bop Gun. Just what an opener, what a banger. It kicks off the album in what might be the absolute best way possible. Yeah, you just can't go wrong with that. Absolutely fantastic. Number 2, Chocolate City, CC. I hear you, CC. I think one of George Clinton's best commentaries, one of his best social commentaries lyrically. Really chill, almost minimalistic. It's got this awesome repeated vamp of like, da-na-na, piano, da-na-na. Just absolutely awesome. Almost hypnotic in its simplicity. Clinton's ranting about, the vanilla suburbs. I think he had read an article in which somebody had referred to Atlanta as Chocolate City, in a derogatory sense. And Clinton took that term and owned it and made it an affirmative statement and made it a point of empowerment, and then gave a shout out to all the chocolate cities around the country. It's just, it is, for what for so many of these songs are over the top, just funk orgies of sound and music and horns and vocals and keyboards and bass and drums, and it's just crazy. This, we're boiling it down to the bare essentials, and it might be like, in a weird way, the funkiest thing on here, just lyrically and tonally, and just Chocolate City, man. It just makes it such a fantastic little just nugget of a song. Love it. Da-na-na. And then number 1, you know what it is, because you want to get funked up too. It's the P-Funk. It wants to get funked up. Epic opener. I don't think there is a better opener to an album possibly than this. Do not attempt to adjust your radio, people. We got name drops of current artists. We got like funk breaks throughout it where we got some narration, and then make my funk the P-Funk. We got these grooves, and then we drop down again, so we got more narration coming in. We got jazzy elements. We got horns galore. The Lollipop Man shows up and starts dropping bars of sort. Yeah, I mean, P-Funk wants to get funk up, and Mothership Connection, it just doesn't. Like this, I mean, that's a perfection. It's like a perfect song, a perfect opener, a perfect jam. Like, there's no complaints. It's an absolute banger. P-Funk wants to get funked up. That's what it looks like right there. Yeah, that's what all those songs look like in typewritten form. They're all just ridiculous. But yeah, that's all I got. I just wanted to share my 10 because I already did the album, so now I got to do the songs. Might talk about that live stuff they got, because it's pretty fun. But anyways, for now, that's all I got. Let me know your top 10 favorite songs if you're one of those people who'd like to share that information. If you're interested in these, there's a link in the playlist in the description to my Spotify playlist if you want to check it out. But yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those things you might want to do. And yeah, I hope you have a good weekend because I'm filming this on a Friday, but I think I'm going to post it on a Saturday. But anyways, I hope you get your P-Funk, and I hope your weekend gets funked up in the best way possible. Peace. Talk to you later.